This is the biggest place in the world.
They're the future of this sport. Don't let the gray hair fool them, Mo. There's still a lot of fight here.
You don't hold anything back in the shootout. There's really no penalty. It's just a bonus race for us. I think the twins are more stressful than the 500, if that makes any sense. It's our Super Bowl event. I mean, this is the biggest event that we have all year long.
NASCAR puts it right in their face. I'm like, man, we're ready to go. Here goes the season. We're ready to get after it.
TNT Sports presents the Winston Cup Series Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. For almost 3 months, fans of the Winston Cup Series have been starved for excitement. But February features a mouth-watering menu at a 5-star establishment. Daytona International Speedway finally began cooking for real on Friday, and now it stands ready to serve up today's special. A refreshing return to racing with 22 drivers set to roar in an on-track appetizer to the 2002 Winston Cup season, the Budweiser Shootout. Hello, Weber, along with Benny Parsons, thrilled to welcome you to our TNT coverage of Speed Weeks here at Daytona. Yes, it has rained here earlier today, but the sun is breaking out. We do expect an on-time green flag shortly after 2 Eastern time, a little more than 30 minutes from now. Today, it's the Bud Shootout, 22 cars for 70 laps. To earn an invitation to this race, you had to win a Bud Pole in the 2001 season or be a previous winner of this event. The start was determined by a draw here on Thursday. Now, Benny, this is not a points race. This is truly play for pay. But for these teams and these fans, the season begins right now.
Yes, it does, Bill, and I'm so excited to be here in Daytona Beach. But you know what? No one knows what's going to happen today. The cars are so radically different than last year. The guys knew last year they'd close up real quickly on the car in front of them. They can't do that this year. New aerodynamic rules. What's going to happen? We don't know. But these 22 cars get a jump start on the rest of the cars. They get 70 laps of practice before the 125s on Thursday, before the Daytona 500. So maybe the 500 winner will come out of these 22 cars a day who's getting a head start on some very confusing rules.
Well, the excitement is about to begin. The best place to be right now is pit road. Let's take you there with Matt Yoakum.
Bill, in a field littered with tons of youth, veteran Ricky Rudd hopes to turn around his luck in Speed Weeks and win his first points-paying race next Sunday's big Daytona 500. But more importantly, Ricky, looking for your first shootout victory. Do you look at today as more of a test for next week, or are you going for the $200,000?
Well, we've always gone for the win here and just hope it works out. And, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it goes today. I think if we don't run good, we'll turn around and we'll say, well, we used it for the shootout for a test. But, you know, we're here to try to win this thing. And I've had the bad distinction of having this thing nearly won a year or so ago and ended up on my roof. So hopefully it'll be our day today.
In 13 starts, Ricky's best finish is 5th. He's trying to change his luck, but Dave Burns, another driver, is hoping to keep his plate luck here in Daytona.
He's had very good luck, Matt. He finished 6th in the shootout race last year, and he was the winner at the last 2 restrictor plate races that they've had in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. But, Junior, they changed the rules on you over the winter. Can you be as good as you were last year?
Well, we're still one of the better cars, I think, but it's just a little more difficult to get to the front, you know, where we were able to just ride right to the front with the other air package. It takes a little more work. It takes a couple more laps to set guys up for passes and things like that, and you need a little more help. So I think it definitely makes for more challenging racing. I'm kind of enjoying it, but you know, the outcome might not always be the same or as consistent as it has in the past. We'll just have to see.
He's not letting us in on whether or not he thinks it's absolutely doable. Marty?
From one all-star to another. Now, there are 22 cars in the shooting match today. That's more than ever. And this guy, Jeff Gordon, starts at the back of them. The Winston Cup champion got a lot of cars to pass, new rules that make it harder for you to pass. Can even the Jeff Gordon, is that too big of a task for you to pass 21 cars today in 70 laps?
Well, 70 laps is quite a long ways around here. You know, handling's going to become an issue. You got a pit stop involved there. So, I mean, it's a total team effort race, and it's not like the shootouts we've seen here in the past where you got to get it done in 10 or 20 laps. So I think we can do it. Even as hard as it is to pass, I think it's going to be a great race. You're going to see a lot of passing towards the middle and back of the field. But I think those guys are going to get stretched out there in the front. We're going to have to find our way to catch them.
All right, put on a good show today. Jeff Gordon, the last time he won the Budweiser Shootout, he went on to win the Daytona 500, Bill.
Thanks, Marty. We are pleased to be joined on the wagon by Tony Stewart, and we have some news for you throughout our TNT coverage during Speed Weeks here at Daytona. Tony Stewart will be a special contributor to our broadcast, and you know what that means? It's time to make a contribution, so ante up, would you? Come on.
It's killing me. I haven't got paid yet.
Tony, come on. You can afford it. Contribute. Come on.
All right.
There you go.
Way to go. Okay.
Just
now,
the way Joe likes it.
look right in that camera and tell the fans what to expect in the shootout today.
Well, I don't think you're going to see three-wide racing like you saw here last year in both the races and here in February and in July in the two Talladega races. But what you are going to see is a lot more strategy and a lot more work on the drivers' parts and putting it more back in our hands as far as we're going to have to think more as drivers. We aren't going to be able to just pull up because the draft's so good and just pull out and pass whenever we want to pass. We're going to have to actually calculate. We're going to have to think about who's behind us, how we're going to get the runs on the guys, and how we're going to get by. So it's going to make the strategy part of it a little bit more difficult than it has been in the past.
But, you know, thinking and race car driver does not go in the same sentence.
Normally you don't hear them in the same sentence. They don't think we think a lot, but this is the one place that we have to think. It's the hardest track to pass as far as with this rule package, and it doesn't mean we aren't going to be able to pass. It just means you're going to have to think harder about how you're going to do it.
In that last practice session yesterday afternoon, I saw you out there almost the entire session. You look like you want to win this thing.
I like winning races.
Yes.
I don't care whether they pay points or not. This is my kind of race. It's just like a short track Saturday night race. You don't worry about points tonight. All you do is go out and try to get the trophy and the big money.
And there is a lot of money.
A lot of money for this.
And this can be a big stepping stone to next Sunday.
Absolutely. This is a great practice session. Everything that we've done with shootout practice so far, we're kind of getting a leg up on the guys that haven't been able to run the shootout because they haven't had drafting practice. So some of the stuff that we've learned setup-wise for the shootout car will apply to the 500 car also.
Okay, I think you must have sabotaged my microphone. Did you do that? See, put him right up here, and he takes right over. Best of luck, and try and take our team to victory lane.
All right,
okay?
pal.
Look forward to working with you throughout Speed Weeks here.
My pleasure.
Okay, we'll get my mic fixed, and we'll be right back to Daytona to look at the greatest challenge in racing, making plate racing safer.
This has to be kept very quiet, Mr. President.
2 Supreme Court judges are assassinated, and 1 law student has an unimaginable theory.
Everyone is assuming that the motive is hatred or revenge.
That just might be right.
Dr. Reap is right. These men will do anything not to be exposed.
Everyone I've told about the brief is dead.
Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, in a story of power versus the truth. The Pelican Brief, tonight at 8 on TNT. We know drama.
All right, boys, you know what to do. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. All right, Hotshot, move it. Come on, move it. Hey, Bobby, you missed the spot. Let's go. Hustle up. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Get in, Elliot. Guys, not bad at all.
Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Energy to perform, even when you don't have to.
This mess calls for Brawny. Okay, Brawny, do your thing.
Only Brawny paper towels have scrubbing circles for scrubbing strength, and its tight weave construction packs fibers extra tight, so it's extra strong.
I'll never get used to this.
Introducing new Brawny paper towels, now stronger than ever.
The NASCAR pre-race on TNT is brought to you by Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Burn fat, crush cravings, and supercharge your energy. By Georgia Pacific, we make the things that make you feel at home. And by Autotrader.com, the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Man, that Tony Stewart, what a practical joker. Every year, the Winston Cup Series runs 4 restrictor plate races, 2 here at Daytona, 2 at Talladega. The plate restricts airflow to the engine. Less air means less horsepower. Less horsepower means a greater demand on the aerodynamic or the body design of the race car. Now, since the restrictor plate race at Talladega last October, NASCAR has worked with race teams to try and solve a very challenging puzzle: how to keep the competition exciting and the competitors safe. Aerodynamics on a race car, an always changing science. For the latest project, we take you back to pit road, and here's Dave.
Well, the latest project, Bill, of course, is getting the wraps off the cars because it's been raining down here, and the cars have to be uncovered in order get them ready to race. Restrictor plates are still on underneath the hood. These are still in place right on top of the air manifold. On top of the rip, though, they've removed the air deflector, which used to go all the way across 10 inches back from the top of the windshield. That is gone. And on the back of the side, let's go back to Bill. We're having some technical problems.
Okay, so obviously Tony ran out there and took care of Burns. But basically, Benny, any aerodynamic change is a big one. Why don't you show us what we saw last year and compare it to what we might see this year?
Well, that roof strip that Dave talked about is 1 3/8 inches high. That rear spoiler was 70 degrees. The cars knocked a huge hole in the air, left big void behind them, so you could really close up quickly. And as a matter of fact, you could run the middle groove at Talladega. That's something we didn't see before. Watch last year as Andy Houston goes right through the middle and continues forward. As a matter of fact, when Dale Earnhardt made that charge from 18th to win, he went right through the middle of the cars. I don't think you'll be able to see that this year with the new aero rules.
Well, it's a pleasure to be joined again this year by Wally Dallenbach. And Wally, the goal here is to break up those 30-car packs to try and make plate racing a little safer.
Well,
think it'll work?
I think that's going to work. I don't, like you guys said, I don't think you're going to see the 3 wide like we've seen in the past. I think it takes a little bit more racetrack to get these cars to handle right now. Did it make it safer? I don't think it made it safer. Still have that opportunity of a guy making a mistake up front. If he makes a mistake up front, he can still take 20 or 25 cars out. So we still have the risk of the big crash.
Okay, Wally. Let's try this. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Hi, I'll slip right over here, and I'll tell you that it was just about a year ago when we lost Dale Earnhardt to the racing world. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you how much he has missed here, tremendously. But he's also missed at Dover and Darlington, at Richmond and Rockingham and Loudon and Las Vegas. He's missed at the shop on Mondays, and he's missed at the farm on Wednesdays. Jim Huber is here now to remind us all that it was the pleasures of knowing Dale Earnhardt that has helped us get through much of the pain.
Bill, he is everywhere, and he is nowhere here. He is overwhelming in his presence on these hallowed grounds and devastating in his absence. He is here at every turn, just a black painted blur growling through yet another grim-faced draft, and he rests at the top of turn 4, here no more. It is astonishing, daunting even, the contrast. You feel Dale Earnhardt, and yet you miss him dearly. You sense him and know he's surely nearby. And yet you also know he will never be here ever again. What a gift to leave this racing world then. What a contribution, a legacy. To be gone and yet never ever leave. It has been 353 days since his death here at Daytona, and the racing world still mourns, still grieves, still turns at the hint of his voice, the suggestion of his swagger, as though, well, just as though. They have named streets and bridges for him, erected monuments, and painted giant number 3s everywhere, like a lost freedom fighter, a fallen president, a hero of the First Order. And yet, like a Carolina Kennedy or King, he remains very much with us. In the decades of this sport, there has never been a void quite like this one. There has always been the old grizzled veteran superstar to lend the kids some balance, some perspective, while still whipping their tails on occasion. Think about it. There was Junior and Fireball for the young Petty and Pearson. And there was Petty himself for the kid Earnhardt. But who is there now? Not a soul over 50 who can still compete on a week-to-week basis. And so perhaps it is right that Dale Earnhardt remains right here with us, very much a part of the very fiber of this place. A reminder to them all of what it takes to be a champion. Bill?
Dale Earnhardt no longer on the track, but Jim always in the starting lineup. Thank you very much. When we continue from Daytona, the new kids on the block. A smart bunch with a smart mouth.
What's your favorite kind of music? Into a lot of different music, like your alternative rock, like going out dancing and techno music. So just kind of, I guess some new younger stuff. Yeah, younger stuff. It's all about being younger now. Gotta be young. You got it. Yeah. You like being young? Yeah, you're used up, Weber. It's over, man. You're old.
I need a car?
Shopping for a used car will never be the same.
No, a convertible, a red one, with under 15,000 miles.
Welcome to Autotrader.com. With 1.5 million used cars updated daily, it's the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
You couldn't help me with a loan, could you? Can we help you?
AutoTrader.com. Your car is waiting.
Right on target. Now there's a men's hair color made to target only your gray hair. Grecian 5. It's right on target. In 5 easy minutes, Grecian 5 targets only the gray hair, replaces it with subtle tones like your own natural color. Right on target. It matches the rest of your hair for a subtle, natural look. Grecian 5 targets only the gray.
To some people, the Winter Olympics look like this. Others see it like this. Something for everyone. The Winter Olympic Games. See it on the networks of NBC.
Brought to you locally by Premier Jewelers.
Say hello to goodbyes. Say hello to Mattress Mart.
As you know, the Winter Olympics are in February. What you may not know is I was a coach on the last U.S. Olympic luge team. What's luge, you ask? That's luge. Mattress Mart is offering huge gold medal savings on all beds now through February. Stop into our Battle Creek store and see a real luge. Unbeatable gold medal savings and our famous lowest storage-free guarantee. Nobody beats Mattress Mart.
When I was, 18, 19, 20 years old, watching the races on television, that's what we heard people complain about, was that nobody ever tells it like it is.
Shame, cover up your face. You can't run the race. The pace is too fast. It just won't last.
Me and these other guys that came into the series over the past 4 or 5 years want to make sure that we can make a mark by being more honest. And sometimes it gets you a little bit of trouble, but sometimes you worry whether you did the right thing or not.
This year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is expected to lead a parade of promising talent on a march toward the title. Now, don't worry if you can't see them coming, because you'll definitely be able to hear them. They are confident, they are competitive, and they are unafraid of confrontation. They like to go fast, turn left, and they occasionally like to lead with their mouth. But on this season-long safari to success, a little reminder to these big game hunters. It's a jungle out there.
There's not a defensive end in the NFL that doesn't think that he's better than the other defensive ends, so it's no different than anything else. It's just something that you have to carry a little bit of attitude.
You have to think that way, huh?
You have to. I mean, if you think somebody else is better than you, you're beat before you even leave.
You're pretty soft-spoken, aren't you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, except on the racetrack.
Well, you got to have your attitude, I guess. I think I'm a nice guy. I like to get along with others, but at the same time, you got to stand your ground on certain issues, and people are climbing all over the side of me during the season. I'm gonna have to do the same thing back.
Confidence is believing. I consider believing in yourself, believing in your race team, believing in your team owner and your sponsor, and I've got all the above.
With new attitudes, you get different personalities, and you just don't get the same cookie-cutter people that you've seen in the past. So, having that variety, they say variety is the spice of life. Well, we got a whole cupboard full of spices now.
Harvick's car, where did he come from? And these turns, Ricky Rudd, sideways up, and how did Rudd save that car?
Going to be some hot tempers after this one. Do you see the young guys challenging the veterans? Is there like two factions there?
There's two different styles. The older guys don't want the younger guys to come take over because they think it's a personal issue, where the younger guys want to come in and do the best they can, and they don't necessarily want to move the old guys aside. They just want to do the best they can as a driver.
The veterans probably create more of a rivalry with the younger guys than the younger guys do with the veterans. Because all the young guys want to do is win. They're not worried about how much money does it make and how much does it pay each week. They just want to win.
Mm-hmm. Does that describe you?
Absolutely.
It's almost kind of a father-son battle here, and because we are so much younger than the guys that we're racing against, that they don't want to see us as one of them. They want to see us as one of their kids, and that's how sometimes I feel like they treat us. But that's okay. I'm used to it.
If you were an animal in the jungle, what animal would you be?
a monkey. I'm kind of, because I'm an idiot. Those guys are always causing some trouble somewhere, and that's right in line with me.
I'd probably be that sneaky little tiger sitting back waiting to attack something that
Because?
It's got a lot of fire, but he only shows it when he has to. The gnarliest animal out there, I'd have to be the lion, you know. And every day the gazelle wakes up and runs for his life, and every day the lion wakes up and he runs to chase the gazelle so he can survive as well. You know, it's kind of like racing. You got to wake up every morning running wide open.
I'd be telling the tiger, of course. If I see it and I want it, I go get it. If you talk to anybody else, they're going to tell you I got a bad attitude, got a bad temper, and I'm real aggressive. So for the most part, I mean, I like to get out there and get after it. I'm not out there just riding around.
Intense.
Definitely intense.
Harvick, he'd probably be a wildebeest.
A what?
A wildebeest.
What exactly is that?
That's like the cow-like thing, and the cheetahs always chase them, but they usually end up getting the cheetahs and spinning them out.
Saturday in qualifying, it was the young guys spinning out the veterans, locking up the front row for next Sunday's Daytona 500. On the pole, Jimmy Johnson. Outside the front row, Kevin Harvick. Both are just 26 years old. Last year, the average age for the drivers in the starting field of the 500, just under 36.5 years old. Now it's time to log on and check out our TNT poll. Here's what you do. You pick out which new school driver will win the most races in 2002. And while you're there, you can also fire a question to our TNT announce team about today's race or the Daytona 500. And one of the three guys in the climate-controlled, air-conditioned booth, or one of us sweating out here on pit road in fire suits, might answer your question on the air. Now, next up, as we continue, the veterans fire back. Yeah, they used to shoot from the lip, but now they let their talent and their titles do the talking.
I don't have one bit of respect for a young guy that comes on. I don't care how much talent he's got, that runs that mouth, and it's like, I'm the only guy, get out of my way. You can do it different than running that track.
There are things that these young guys can do that us veterans can't do. There are some things that the veterans can do that the young guys can't.
My generation.
What's drama?
Drama is life at 190 miles an hour.
Drama is being a NASCAR crew chief.
27 guys with one goal, 14-second pit stop.
Drama is being original.
Drama is living up to expectations.
Drama is growing up in the shadow of greatness.
Drama is trading paint on the final lap.
Drama, now that's going across the finish line upside down.
Drama is just finishing the race.
Drama is NASCAR on TNT.
All right, boys, you know what to do. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. All right, hot shot, move it. Come on, move it. Hey, Bobby, you missed the spot. Let's go. Hustle up. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Get in, Elliott. Guys, not bad at all.
Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat. Energy to perform, even when you don't have to.
Tonight, on the Performance Art Channel.
Bacon.
Ever notice how all TV networks want to stand for something? Well, we do. You want to resign?
Are you in any pain?
The law is above the high and mighty.
You're getting locked up.
TNT, we know drama. They know bacon.
TNT Sports is live at the Daytona International Speedway for an all-star shootout. 22 drivers earned an invitation to the 70-lap $1 million event. The field contains 9 Winston Cup championships and represents 23 of the 36 race wins from the 2001 Winston Cup season. Now, come here for just a second. If you listen really closely, in a few minutes, you'll hear the creaking sound of some crusty old drivers climbing into their race cars. Don't worry, they'll never remember I said it. But just because the over 40 bunch thinks Lincoln Park is a place you visit on a trip to Washington, D.C., doesn't mean their glory days are over. In fact, many people strongly believe these guys are still the boss.
10 years ago, when you raced Winston Cup, there were 20 drivers in the field that were good enough to win, and there was 20 in the field that weren't. These are all champions, and everyone in the Daytona 500, driver-wise, is capable of winning the race.
There's guys of us that are 45 and older that have been here a while that can still challenge and can still win, but these guys are the future, and yeah, it's nice to see that we have the people with the talent and the personalities that we have to carry this forward.
I know I'm on the other end of my career. I mean, let's face it, I realize that this sport's going to push me out. The younger generation's going to come in, just as I did to the older generation.
I don't like a cocky young kid that doesn't respect where the sport came from. When I came on, it was Richard Petty, David Pearson, Cale Yarbrough, guys like that. And let me tell you, those were some bad characters. They were tough dudes. And I understood that, and it was an honor for me to run with those guys. And I really respect a young driver that's got a lot of talent that respects the past.
The veterans, we've been around a while, and we kind of know the deal, but I think some of the young ones coming in might be, rivals against each other. So, we're just the old guys just do their own thing, and they'll let the young ones fight it out.
I think it's always been that way, really. I don't think it's anything new. It's just I think people pay more attention to things today than they used to. There's more media today and more television coverage.
I was like, these guys are in the way. Let's get them out of the way. How much longer do they have to be out there sucking up the air? How much longer they got to be in my way? I had that attitude. But now I know what that attitude felt like, and so I'm not paying much attention to them. I plan on kicking their rear end for a long time.
In race situations, in tough situations, they've been there already. We talk about young people, you usually like to think experience counts for something, and it does. But these guys have a lot of experience, whether it's in NASCAR Winston Cup racing exactly, and most of them have a lot there now, but they're tremendous talents, and they're the future of this sport.
There are things that these young guys can do that us veterans can't do. But there's some things that the veterans can do that the young guys can't.
They still need to learn some things, and I hope that they don't let the gray hair fool them. There's still a lot of fight here.
You look at the Dale Jarrett's, the Rusty Wallace's, the Ricky Rudds, man, we're all the same age. We're still whipping up on those young guys pretty good, and I'm kind of feeling good about that.
Let's hear it for the over 40 bunch, and we're closing in on the 4 words those guys have been waiting for. Here's your vitamin E. We'll take you to the grid in just a moment.
Crawled into any racy adventures lately? What are you doing the weekend of February 23rd and 24th? Whoa. The 1-866-RBC-Term.com 200 NASCAR Busch Series, February 23rd. And the North Carolina 400 NASCAR Winston Cup Series, February 24th. North Carolina Speedway.
He's going into cardiac arrest.
I don't understand. Mike's heart is useless. He's going to need a transplant. Let's do it.
There are no provisions in your policy for a procedure of this magnitude.
They are releasing him.
Come on now, baby.
Do something.
The hospital's under new management now.
Now, what exactly is it that you want?
You let him get away with this, there'll be a gun in every hospital in the country.
So what are you going to do? Shoot me if I don't operate?
Not on my watch. This guy's not gonna make it.
John Q. My son's going to live. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday. This has to be kept very quiet, Mr. President.
2 Supreme Court judges are assassinated, and 1 law student has an unimaginable theory.
Everyone is assuming that the motive is hatred or revenge.
That just might be right.
Okay, Reap is right. These men will do anything not to be exposed.
Everyone I've told about the brief is dead.
Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, in a story of power versus the truth. The Pelican Brief, tonight at 8 on TNT. We know drama.
I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the Mahjong Network.
5 cracks. So.
Tension fills the air here at Florence Loeb's apartment.
Mahjong! Oh!
Ever notice how all TV networks want to stand for something? Well, we do.
You make
me want to be a better man.
This isn't about me or you.
Welcome to the real world.
TNT, we know drama. They know Mahjong.
Anytime I get to go to Daytona, I'm always excited. We got the Bud Shootout. We'll be ready to go.
Rockets to the front at Daytona.
Everybody only remembers the guy who won the race, and it doesn't really matter where else you finish if you can't win.
Final lap at Daytona.
If you crash out of the shootout, all you lose is money.
I've put my trust in you. Pushed as far as I can go. I tried so hard and got so far. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had too far to lose it all. But in the end, it doesn't even matter.
There's nothing that really matters other than winning it. It's a prestige, it's an ego, everybody's going for it.
TNT Sports presents the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Today, it's the invitation-only Budweiser Shootout at Daytona on a cloudy, breezy, and wet February Sunday here in Florida. Let's take you to the front row, and here's Marty Snyder.
Well, Bill, it's a very interesting front row. Kenny Wallace, the class clown, is on the outside of the front row. He pushed his brother here to the win in 1998. He says, hey, it's someone's turn to push me to the win. But the big story's on the other side. Kurt Busch, the super sophomore, qualified 43rd for the Daytona 500, but more importantly, just got his car to the grid. That's not going to do much for your nerves, is it, Kurt?
It's just like the six-pack, you know, the Budweiser Shootout. Brewster getting that car. But we got our car here. We got a good shot starting up front, so we're going to give it the best shot. I mean, for us to learn, it's what we're going to try to do and try to help out with all the other Roush cars. We know we're struggling. We know we got to get better.
He said, that's all I want to do. I just want to learn today. I don't think I have a shot to win the race. Matt?
Marty sophomore Casey Atwood borrows his old car from new teammate Jeremy Mayfield to make his first Budweiser Shootout appearance. He told me just moments ago the biggest item on his agenda today is just to learn. He's got tons of veterans around him. Dale Jarrett will start right in front, Rusty Walsh alongside, and Sterling Marlin right behind. He knows next weekend is the biggest day and could be the biggest win of his career. He's hoping to learn a lot today, but then again, he says 4 drivers in the past have won in their first Budweiser Shootout appearance. He's on a drive for 5 to Dave Burns.
Matt, this is Bobby Labonte's 9th shootout. The best he's ever finished in it is 3rd. How do you win today starting?
Man, we just got to be there, you know, all day long. It's a long race, required pit stop, and try to get up front. Our interstate batteries, Pontiac's running pretty good, so hopefully we can get up there.
He'll need a partner, and if he can, he'll win the thing today. Bill?
Okay, Dave, what he needs to do right now is climb in that interstate batteries Pontiac. 22 drivers, 70 laps, $200,000 to the winner. The fans are here, the sun is out. We take you to the infield for the words you've been waiting to hear.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports, the Grand Marshal of the 2002 Budweiser Shootout at Daytona, Mr. Jim Bragg.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Bobby Labonte getting strapped in, getting fitted into his race car, getting the engine fired, and getting set to go. Kurt Busch on the pole, Jeff Gordon starting dead last in between 20 guys that can't wait to get going. Here are 3 more guys that can't wait to get going. Up to the booth, Alan Bestwick, Benny Parsons, and Wally Dallenbach.
That is the truth, Bill. So excited about being here at Speed Weeks and getting the new racing season underway. BP, Jeff Gordon starting last. Great setup. Can he pass everybody and win?
You know, I wondered that same thing myself. So I talked to Robbie Lewis this morning. He said, I think we can. We can make up a couple of positions on pit stops. We interviewed Jeff Gordon, and he said he thought he could get there. But it's going to be very difficult. He's got to have someone help him, maybe two someones, help him push him through that field. I don't think he can do it by himself.
It'd be fun watching him try to get there, that's for sure. Wally, this new rules package the drivers are racing under today, Benny talked about 22 guys with a head start on finding out about the Daytona 500. Is that what this race is all about?
Man, this is about the money. The winner gets $200,000. If a driver's got a good deal, 50% of that, 100 grand, give Uncle Sam 40%. Man, you're sticking $60,000 in your pocket at the end of the day for 70 laps work. That's what it's all about.
I like that he remembered Uncle Sam's part in there, though.
Money.
Never forget Uncle Sam.
Yeah, I know. It gets you in trouble fast. All right, we've got the first green flag action of the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season, the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. The starting lineup, well, the lineup introduces itself to you more likely when we come back after this.
Check this out. Bob here needs a car.
How about a pickup? A black one. A place for my bike.
Autotrader.com. Over 1.5 million used cars, make it the biggest, best used car site on the planet.
Need a loan?
Oh, yeah. Autotrader.com. Your car is waiting.
Look, Dale, I know how you loved trucks when you were growing up, and if you want to race that big brown truck, I want you to know that I'll support you 100%. I mean, it's a nice truck, nice brown, everybody.
Dad, I'm not driving the truck.
How about some pie?
This is Bill. Bill is installing a new belt on his car. The belt he purchased isn't exactly right, but it seemed like a bargain, and Bill's determined to get it on there. That one might be a little tight, Bill. Here's the deal. At Napa, we not only carry the right part, we've got the know-how to make sure that's what you leave the store with.
The Budweiser Shootout is brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you.
22 drivers getting set to sprint 70 laps at the Daytona International Speedway in the opening action of the 2002 NASCAR season. It's the Budweiser Shootout, coming up live on TNT. Rained a little while ago. The track is now dry, though, and you see the field has rolled onto the speedway to make their parade and pace laps. Normally, we introduce you to the starting field. Let's do something a little different, a little fun today. Let's let the starting field introduce themselves to you.
I'm Kurt Busch, and I'm on the pole for the Budweiser Shootout. I'm going to keep everybody behind me.
I tell you what, I drew good. I drew second. That's where I want to be. Let's see if we can stay up there all day.
Hi, I'm Tony Stewart. I'm the defending champion of this race, so you better watch out.
Hi, I'm Kenny Schrader. We're starting fourth. We've won it a couple times. We've had some big problems here, too.
I'm Bill Elliott, starting fifth in the Budweiser Shootout. Hi, I'm Ricky Rudd, driving the Haviland Taurus. I'm starting sixth in the Budweiser Shootout.
I'm Terry Labonte. I'm starting seventh in the Bud Shootout. I'm Ryan Newman. The class begins with the Budweiser Shootout.
Hi, I'm Dale Jarrett, and hopefully we'll have our UPS Taurus up front before you know it. Hi, I'm Jimmy Spencer, and I start 10th in the Budweiser Shootout.
I'm Casey Atwood, and I'm starting 11th in the Budweiser Shootout.
Hi, I'm Rusty Wallace, and I'm starting 12th in the Bud Shootout, but look for me to get to the front.
Hi, I'm Sterling Martin. I'm starting 13th for the shootout. Hey, I'm starting 14th in the Budweiser Shootout, but I sure do want to end up at front.
Hi, I'm Richie Craven, driving the Tide Ford. Gonna start 15th for the Bud Shootout.
Hello, I'm Dillon Hart Jr., and I'll be starting 16th, but I'll be the one up front in the Budweiser Shootout.
Hey, I'm Stacy Compton. I'm starting 17th in the Bud Shootout.
And I'm starting 18th in the Budweiser Shootout.
Hey, I'm Jeff Green, starting 19th in the Budweiser Shootout.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Bodine. I might be starting in the back, but hey, I won this thing before, so it's time to win it again.
Hi, I'm Todd Bodine. I'm going nowhere but to the front in the Bud Shootout.
I'm Jeff Gordon. I'm starting last in the Budweiser Shootout, but I won't plan to be there long.
You sure wouldn't expect Jeff Gordon to be there long, too. Tell you another good reason. Talked about this being a good test for the drivers and team. We all get to get used to the drivers who've changed rides and the different color schemes today, too.
What is it you want? I want my kid's name on the donors list.
I've done everything I can do. I'm sorry. This Friday.
This is going to end up bad for you, John.
Give a father no options. They're telling me I got to take my son home and watch him die. They have no choice.
Police will do whatever is necessary. These hostages.
Are you praying? Yes, I'm praying.
I got a shot at this guy and I'm going to take it.
Denzel Washington.
I am not going to bury my son.
John Q.
How's it going to end, John?
I don't know. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
You should read this. One of the U.S. bobsledders pulled a muscle. Looks like they'll need a sub.
I must go.
Any excuse is a good excuse to get to McDonald's for the all-new chicken breast on sandwich. Juicy all-white meat chicken smothered with tangy marinara sauce, topped with melting mozzarella. Getting hungry? Hurry in.
So where's the medal?
The irresistible new chicken breast Parmesan sandwich, now on McDonald's new Tates menu. McDonald's, a worldwide Olympic partner.
Come to Pep Boys, where Jack's been cutting prices on hundreds of items like high-quality 80,000-mile Futura tires, now as low as 4 for $159, or 55,000-mile Futura tires as low as 4 for $129. Get an incredible deal on tires today at Pep Boys.
Thursday night, the NBA is on TNT. Michael Jordan takes his team on the road and onto the league's most hostile home court to battle Chris Webber and the Kings. Wizards Kings at 9. The drama of the NBA is on TNT.
Now West Michigan get $2,002 bonus cash on a new 2002 GMC plus 5.9% APR financing for 60 months. See dealer for restrictions. Upgrade to professional grade. See the pros at your West Michigan GMC dealers.
I thought I won thousands of dollars playing blackjack, shooting craps on the slots.
Hit me, baby.
Let it ride. Internet gambling was fun, but I didn't a scam.
Oh, no.
Like these guys off the coast of Madagascar are gonna give you money when they have your parents' credit card number. Yeah, right. Yeah, not. Don't get taken. Don't gamble on the internet.
At the Daytona International Speedway, waiting on the start of the Budweiser Shootout, the first green of the 2002 NASCAR season. It rained just a short while ago here at the Speedway, so they're going to make a couple of extra parade and pace laps. Make sure the track is completely dry. That spot on the Speedway, particularly turn 2, is drawing some concern right now.
Let's try to talk to Tony Stewart and check on the racetrack. Tony Stewart, Benny Parsons, you read me?
Yeah, Benny, go ahead.
How does the track look, especially over in turn 2?
I think it's fine. I think it's race ready.
Well, good enough. What are your thoughts now as you're getting ready to start the 2002 season?
I'm excited. I mean, we didn't have much of an off season, but I can tell you, this is the seat that I always want to be in on Sunday, and look forward to getting back in the car. So I'm real excited right now.
Good luck to you, man.
Thank you, pal.
Tony Stewart getting set to go from 3rd position in the Budweiser Shootout. Going to be at least another lap and a half before the green flag, so let's take the opportunity to squeeze in a commercial break here. We'll be back for the start.
This has to be kept very quiet, Mr. President.
2 Supreme Court judges are assassinated, and 1 lost due to unimaginable theory.
Everyone is assuming that the motive is hatred or revenge.
That just might be right.
Dr. Brief is right. These men will do anything not to be exposed.
Everyone I've told about the Brief is dead.
Julia Roberts, Denzel Washington, in a story of power versus the truth. The Pelican Brief, tonight at 8 on TNT. We know drama.
Dude, pick up. I'm at Eduardo's. I'm on the date. I forgot her name. You gotta help me.
After college, I got a job. And after that, I got another job with a guy, Carlene. I want Carlene.
Who is this clown?
Carlene.
Hey, what's wrong with you, huh? Get off my car!
Carlene, I was just thinking about what a wonderful, what a memorable name.
Say, Ed, mind if I borrow the Ram?
Sure. Going out with your buddies? Hauling a stack of 4x8 sheetrock? Towing a gravel crusher?
Yeah, no, actually, I just need to pick up this, like, antique sewing.
4 full-size doors and a full-size bed. The all-new Dodge Ram. Grab Dodge's 7/100 powertrain pledge. Ford, GM, and Toyota don't have it.
All right, boys, you know what to do. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. All right, hot shot, move it. Come on, move it. Hey, Bobby, you missed the spot. Let's go. Hustle up. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Get in, Elliot. Guys, not bad at all.
Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Energy to perform, even when you don't have to.
Welcome back to the Budweiser Shootout on TNT. A special race of 70 laps in length. They will need to stop for fuel, but they have to make a mandatory stop in order to change 2 right-side tires. That's really the only specific rule to the Budweiser Shootout. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
If crew member changes and safety storylines and begin the whole year, NASCAR mandated that all crew members that go over the wall must wear fire suits and safety helmets. You can see the Pennzoil team, they've all got helmets on. Over the wall. A great opportunity this race for these guys to try out this new safety paraphernalia in race-ready conditions. Marty?
Well, Matt, those rules were made for very good reasons. Remember the bad pit road accident at Homestead where 3 members of Ricky Rudd's crew were injured? I'm happy to report that all 3 of these guys are back. Kevin Hall, the front tire carrier, Bobby Burrell, the front tire changer, and John Bryan, the jackman, are back at work full steam. They started practicing the first week in January, haven't missed a step yet. I asked them if they were nervous. They said, no way. We worked today early on in the... Alan?
70 laps, some $966,000 on the line, and a chance to test out the new rules at Daytona. We're about set to start the 2002 NASCAR season as the pace car heads for pit road, and Kurt Busch leads the field to the start of the Budweiser Shootout.
Wow, the 28 car had trouble getting up to speed there. I don't know if he lost a transmission or missed, probably more than missing a.
So Ricky Rudd in trouble before they get to turn 1. But behind him, a good job to keep from causing a wreck.
And Ricky Rudd, if that car isn't running, will not make it back to pit road.
It jumped out of gear, guys. Ricky said it jumped out of gear.
All right, Bill, thanks. So that's the story on the 28. 97 is Kurt Busch. 1 is Kenny Wallace.
And 20 is Tony Stewart as he literally pushes Kurt Busch to the...
This is on board Ricky Rudd. He's down at the end of the backstretch. Actually, he's only about halfway down the backstretch, so he's definitely not going to make it back around.
He's got first gear only, so he might make it back out in first gear only. He's going to try and make it to pit road.
Okay, Bill, thanks. Yeah, there it is. It's running.
But first gear is, he can only run about 60 or 70 miles per hour in that gear.
Sometimes what happens, especially on a restart, if you try shifting real fast, it gets hung up. And it actually the gear shifter moves, but it gets hung up in first gear. They could probably jack that car up and get it fixed, but Budweiser Shootout, not going to gain a whole lot.
What's the point? Experience. Unless they want to learn. You have another car. They have a teammate, the UPS car. Dale Jarrett is out there, and they can get the feedback from him. And watch Terry Labonte go through the middle. I said it couldn't be done. We just saw Labonte do it.
I'm not sure if he went to the middle or he got put in the middle, but
it's racing from 4th on back. Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, Kenny Wallace. So much for there being no 3-wide racing under this rules package.
Well, don't forget, we're still on fresh tires here, so if you're gonna get away with it, now's the time of the race when you can.
Up the inside comes Bill Elliott in the red number 9. Working on Ken Schrader for 4th. This is Elliott.
The 19 is Casey Atwood.
And yes, that is Casey Atwood for this race. Jeremy Mayfield will have that ride for the Daytona 500 and the season. Is in that car for the Budweiser Shootout. Ricky Rudd behind the wall.
And Tony Stewart has moved up into that second spot.
Now, that second pack that kind of got separated off in that shuffling around run in the opening lap, they've caught up. Now we're going to get to see what these rules are going to do. Stewart to the outside, a drafting push from Kenny Wallace. New leader.
And that's the place that I saw all the passes made last night in practice. Side. You would think the bottom of the racetrack is the place to be. It was not in that practice session, and the pass was made by Tony Stewart on the outside.
Busch quickly getting pushed back in that inside line. Fifth, now fighting for sixth. Here's Bobby Labonte, going to look low on Schrader for third. Dale Jr. is pushing him. Jr. started 16th. He's now up to fourth, just 5 laps in.
Now, they moved to the inside and was able to pass Schrader on the inside, but the cars moved down. They were able to get some drafting help on the bottom. On board with Dale Jarrett as he goes in turn 3 behind Bill Elliott. The 6 car is Mark Martin.
Dale Jarrett showing in 9th place right now. One of the things we saw in yesterday's Bud Bowl qualifying, when cars are out one at a time on the track, as you see the field coming up on the back of Ricky Rudd, who's just come off of pit road onto the speedway, which just in a second. One of the things that we saw yesterday was that the Fords seemed to be at a disadvantage running one at a time. We're going to find out today if they're competitive in the draft. Bill, what about Ricky Rudd?
Alan, it was just locked up. He pulled behind the wall. They jacked it up. Raymond Fox dove under there. Gave it a good whack. Ricky said that fixed it, and off they went. And obviously they're going to stay out there for just what Benny said, the experience and maybe helping a buddy.
His buddy's coming up on him right now.
His buddy would be Dale Jarrett, his teammate. Jarrett goes by, Rudd on the outside, but he's not able to get behind him and help push.
Little anxious up front.
And Bobby Labonte and Jr. goes by the 1 car, Kenny Wallace. Here comes a 36.
Labonte started 14th. I was going to say you got 2 sets of teammates there, but Kenny Wallace couldn't latch on to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Earnhardt Incorporated teammates. Kenny's going to get shuffled.
This is Bill Elliott. What about Bobby Labonte? Marty?
Well, he's running very well, Benny, and they did not know what to expect today. About 5 laps into the happy hour practice for the Budweiser Shootout, Bobby Labonte lost his engine, and they are very concerned in the Gibbs camp. They are sending all of the Daytona 500 engines back to Huntersville, North Carolina, where they will rebuild them because a piston let go in Bobby Labonte's race engine for this race, and the same piston is in their Daytona 500 engine.
That's crazy. Wallace up there.
And it's probably the same piston. And we see 3 wide. Kenny Wallace is still the meat in the sandwich.
Oh, contact there. Tom Bodine nips the side of Kenny Wallace. And Jeff Gordon's right behind all this. Here's Gordon's view.
Jeff Gordon started 22nd last time by, was running in 20th position. So he's only picked up 1 spot. So Ricky Rudd out of the mix because he's 3 laps down.
And yet, Bobby Labonte started 14th, and he's up to 2nd. Just underway. 9 of 70 laps completed in the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. Tony Stewart is the 2nd leader of the race.
This mess calls for brawny. Okay, Brawny, do your thing.
Only Brawny paper towels have scrubbing circles for scrubbing strength, and its tight weave construction packs fibers extra tight so it's extra strong.
I'll never get used to this.
Introducing new Brawny paper towels, now stronger than ever.
It all started when I encountered the Witchblade. Exactly what it is and why I was chosen to wield it are still a mystery to me. And with a little luck, I would learn why I was chosen to wield this thing called the Witchblade.
New York City's toughest cop is back. Relive TNT's hit original series. Mondays at 9, only on TNT. We know drama.
Greg, this one you gotta see.
Oh.
That's Leslie's first bath. Look at that little tushy.
That's her little tushy, all right. That cute little tushy that belongs to such an attractive, beautiful woman. Because it's grown up into something else. Nice, big, round tushy. You know, have you seen it? Have you seen it lately? You know. Is dinner coming soon, or is it?
Crawled into any racy adventures lately? What are you doing the weekend of February 23rd and 24th? Whoa. The 1-866-RBC-Term.com 200 NASCAR Busch Series, February 23rd, and the North Carolina 400 NASCAR Winston Cup Series, February 24th, North Carolina Speedway.
New leader in the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona, Bobby Labonte has shuffled his teammate Tony Stewart out of line. Here's how it happened just a lap ago.
Going down in turn 1. Bobby Labonte gets a great run, moves out on the inside. Junior in the 8 car goes with him. By goes Bobby Labonte, by goes Junior. Schrader.
Tony Stewart's fallen all the way back to about 8th in line by now. A lot of action coming up this week. Tuesday night on TBS, New York Knicks and the Orlando Magic are the early game. Then in the late game, Michael Jordan and the Washington Wizards visit Shaq, Kobe, and the LA Lakers. Wednesday night on TNT, it's Phoenix and Minnesota. Kevin Garnett, center spotlight. And then Thursday night, it's Washington and Sacramento. A couple of teams up. Teams leading out west. It's coming up this week, the NBA on TNT and TBS. Jeremy Mayfield is slowing down. Casey Atwood's a big thing. I'm sorry. I'm getting a head start on this week. I made the change in my head to Jeremy in that 19 car already.
I wonder how many times I'm going to call the 19 car Casey Atwood before the year's over, but Alan did it first.
I got one. But you don't want to shoot in the bucket, Alan. Tony Stewart shuffled back to 8th spot after leading just a couple of laps ago. There he is, back there trying to squeeze to the inside of Rusty Wallace. Which was great until they got to the straightaway. They had no drafting help.
The parachute came out the back.
Second group of cars is being headed by Mark Martin. They're trying to pull up in the lead group. And a couple of cars behind Mark, they're double wide, and that's not helping the draft. See, Jeff Gordon has moved his way through there. Gordon started 22nd. He's up to 13th.
And that's Jeffrey Bodine right behind Mark Martin and James Finch's car. It's number 09. There we see Gordon. Like you said, last time by was 13th. He's on the outside line. Get some help from Kenny Wallace in the 1 car.
And he was second in the early laps. He shuffled out of the draft, and now he's fighting back around in this traffic.
Kenny Wallace's car must not be handling very well. While you see how much space he lost going down in turn 1.
And there's been a few of those cars, BP, that look like they're using a lot of space right now on the racetrack.
Gap from Bobby Labonte back to Jeff Gordon.
mean, he lost the one car, the yellow car right behind Jeff Gordon. Seemed to make a pretty good corner up in 3 and 4 that time. And that's what Jeff Gordon needs is the one car right behind him, just pushing him by the 40 car.
Matt Yoakum, what happened to the 19 car?
Well, Ray Evernham, the owner, just jumped off the box. And Ray, any idea what's the problem?
Don't really know yet, Matt. For some reason, threw the belts off the motor. Started to run a little bit warm, and then Casey said it popped, and doesn't have an oil pump belt on it right now, and that's normally a sign that it's over.
Well, he was hoping to use this race as a big learning tool for next weekend. His lesson didn't last very long.
So Casey Atwood is out of the race. Ricky Rudd is 3 laps down. That leaves 20 cars in the hunt for the victory.
And we saw Rusty Wallace. I saw Rusty Wallace pass on the outside just a moment ago. Tony Stewart did the same thing to him that time. Rusty was down on the bottom of the racetrack trying to follow the line of cars. And Tony just drove by up on the outside. Watch this. Tony Stewart once again trying to go by on the high side of Dale Jarrett.
Remember, we talked to Tony during our pre-race show about this new rules package, the difference from last year, and he said you're going to have to think and plot and plan your moves a lot more. Looks like he's doing that with a very strong race car right now, but he's going to work real hard to make a pass.
His car looks like it's a little bit free. I don't know if it is, but it looks like a bit sideways getting off the corners, and also Rusty's car looks the same.
Stewart running in 7th behind Dale Jarrett, just ahead of him. Bobby Labonte is the leader of the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Right on target. The men's hair color made to target only your gray hair. Grecian 5. It's right on target. In 5 easy minutes, Grecian 5 targets only the gray hair, replaces it with subtle tones like your own natural color. Right on target. It matches the rest of your hair for a subtle, natural look. Grecian 5 targets only the gray. It's 3.
Bobby Labonte continues to lead the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona, but they've been mixing it up just behind him. You've got Dale Earnhardt Jr. second, Kurt Busch third, and now Tony Stewart continuing to pick his way back toward the front. He's up to 4th.
I think these guys, I don't know, BP, what would look like to you. These guys look like they're going to have to work on handling for the 500 and 125, because a lot of these cars look like they're using a lot of racetrack. And by using a lot of racetrack, it means that they're catching the car. It's not stuck as they were, say, in the past.
Well, last year, that 70-degree rear spoiler and that air deflector on the roof, all that stuff planted the car into the racetrack. Tony Stewart checking some of his telemetry, 186 miles per hour, 187, 188. You can see as he starts hitting the bank and making the car go the other direction, the car obviously doesn't want to make that go the other direction. It slows down. And he goes by Kurt Busch, takes over 3rd spot.
Little push from Ken Schrader, also driving the Pontiac, as is Stewart. And now here comes the rest of the field. Jeff Gordon and Tom Bodine continuing to draft together forward. Marty, something going on with Bobby Labonte?
Well, things going very well for Bobby Labonte on the racetrack, but one slight problem. He does have a radio problem. He can hear the team cannot hear him. And if you're going to have a radio problem, that's the worst kind to have, because the team does not know how the car is acting on the racetrack and what changes to make on pit road.
Or when you want to come in for a pit stop.
If Bobby Labonte has some type of problem and he wants to come in, and looky here at Junior, go right by with some help from Tony Stewart. And Bobby's losing 2nd. He's losing 3rd, maybe 4th. Todd Bodine moves into 4th position.
Todd started back in 21st. He and Jeff Gordon started on the last row. They're in 4th and 5th.
Does Bobby have a problem? I saw that time he went turn 1 very, very high. If he does, he can't tell his crew. Marty's in.
He said he thinks he might have a flat tire or a tire going down, Benny. The team is getting on the wall in case he does come down pit road, but I believe he's going to stay out there. Communication now between Jimmy Makar and Bobby Labonte, and Jimmy is trying to talk to him and trying to figure out what the problem is. But again, Bobby cannot really talk to the team. They're hearing a little bit of what he says, but not the whole thing of what he says.
I got you. But they did hear flat tire somewhere along the line.
Look at this. Labonte low, Kenny Wallace high, Sterling Marlin in the middle.
Stacey Compton, the dark green car, trying to help Bobby Labonte get by Sterling. He does.
That's A.J. Foyt's Conseco machine.
Really good stuff so far. It has been.
Over to NASCAR.com, we've been taking your questions at TNT Race Talk. How many cars did the teams bring to Speed Weeks and why?
Well, the guys that are in the Budweiser Shootout would probably have 3 cars here. Wouldn't you think, Wally?
Yeah.
A car for the Bud Shootout, a car for the Daytona 500, and a backup for both.
But most of the other teams bring 2 cars. They bring their main car and a backup car, a spare if they have a problem. They crash the car, they back the other car off the trailer, go through tech, and ready to go.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the 4th different leader of the Budweiser Shootout. Dave Burns is in his pit.
And Alan, not only does he get the benefit of being the leader of this race, but he also gets the benefit of cool air hitting that front radiator area. He was overheating, as were many of the cars up through the 10, and he was running about 230 degrees in the water temperature. That's quite a bit. So he was bobbing in and out behind Bobby Labonte to get some air to that radiator, but now leading, he can get that pressure in there. And the team, in fact, is probably going to make a change when he comes in, take a little tape off to help that situation as well. Marty?
Dave, here's the deal with Bobby Labonte. He said when he went into 2 a little while ago, picked up a real bad push, and then all of a sudden got really loose. That's when Benny saw him going back through the field. The radio communication, they can only hear him in the tri-oval, and it's very scratchy when they do hear him. Matt?
Marty reports in from Tony Stewart, the driver in the second place number 20 machine. He says his car's a little bit tight, but that's not the biggest concern. Chris Woodward, the engine tuner, walked over to me. He says, I'm a little worried. Tony just said the water's up to 240. He's riding behind the 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. They're hoping he'll pull out to get a little cool air in there to cool that water temperature down, Bill.
Matt, originally Terry Labonte simply couldn't find the right line of traffic to get in. Then he finally started coming forward. But in that traffic, he had the same overheating problem that Dave Burns was talking about. So he had to fall back, get out of line, cool off the engine, and now he's trying to move back to the front. But every time he gets in traffic, the temperature starts to go up. One more thing, just a reminder, these guys do have to pit. A lot of radio chatter right now about our original strategy, but watch for the big pack, because when they come, so are we.
Didn't we see a lot of overheating on cars even under the old rules last year?
You see one thing, watch on the bottom of Junior's car there. I noticed this morning that he had that tape completely up. And I talked to some guys, and they said they must be gambling on being out front. Because if you run that bottom taped up like that and run back in traffic, you are going to overheat. Some of the other cars we'll see have an opening in the bottom, getting some air there, because that's the highest pressure. That's where the air does the most good in cooling the engine.
We'll be seeing a lot of tape being pulled out the front of these cars when they do make a pit stop.
A Chevrolet, 2 Pontiacs, and a Ford occupy the top 4 spots. It's Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. Remember, they have to make a green flag pit stops. Those should start soon.
Dale, thanks for being designated driver.
No problem, man.
What's up? Make a left up here.
Hey, Mr. Fisher!
Okay, make a quick left, and then slow down.
Sydney!
Sydney! What's going on? Make a right on Havermeyer. What's up? Make a left on Jackson.
Dude, where exactly do you live?
I'm right back by the bar.
Hey, Bobby!
The Heritage Tower is a historical landmark in downtown Battle Creek, offering a unique banquet facility that will accommodate a wide variety of functions. Here at the Heritage Tower, we have space available for offices in a professional atmosphere, and we'll build to suit your needs. With a distinctive and one-of-a-kind dome, the view is breathtaking. Let us ease your mind as we assist you in creating that special environment you're looking for. Heritage Tower, elegant surroundings, conveniently located, and affordably priced.
When you were 20, it was about meeting people. When you were 25, it was about proving yourself. Now, staying healthy is about feeling better. Join Full Blast Fitness Center and avoid high-pressured sales and intimidating young things in spandex. This low-key, friendly fitness center offers state-of-the-art treadmills, cross-trainers, stair climbers, bikes, and weights. Customize your workout with help from professional and personal wellness trainers. Full Blast Fitness Center in downtown Battle Creek, the people's choice for affordable fitness.
Two Supreme Court judges are dead, and one law student has an unimaginable theory.
Everyone I've told about the brief is dead.
Julie Roberts, Denzel Washington, in a story of power versus the truth. The Pelican Brief, tonight at 8 on TNT.
The most acclaimed drama series on television, Law & Order, is now on TNT.
You have to talk to me.
The girl is just violent, Jack.
Get caught up all over again with Law & Order tomorrow night at 8 on TNT.
Here we go. I assume since all the doors are locked, this is a hostage situation. Is that correct?
It was about his son.
He's going to need a transplant or he's going to die.
Your insurance does not cover this.
Until he made it.
I want my kid's name on the donors list.
About everyone.
When people are sick, they deserve a little help.
Academy Award winner Denzel Washington.
My son's going to live.
Take the shot. John Q. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday.
6 cars trying to break away from the pack at the head of the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, Ken Schrader, Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon, and Rusty Wallace are wheeling those 6 machines. Here's a look at TNT's original series, Witchblade.
The Witchblade has many powers, but only the person who wields it can truly know them all.
See the story of a woman who started out a warrior and became something more. Witchblade. Every Monday night at 9, only on TNT.
The first season of Witchblade every Monday night at 9 here on TNT.
Alec. The 5 car, evidently Bill Weber, has gotten too hot. Looks like he's smoking.
Yeah, Terry Labonte just radioed in. Temperatures going up. He has smoke in the cockpit. They asked him for a temperature reading, but he said they're getting high. It's getting hot, and he has smoke in the cockpit. We'll have to keep an eye on it.
Not too good.
We see the Conseco car has all tape on that bottom part of his grill as well.
Tell you though, Terry Labonte, the 7th fastest qualifier for the Daytona 500 yesterday in time trials, and a lot of optimism around that camp after a dreadful season a year ago.
Bobby Labonte back to the front. He drives by Terry, takes over the 4th position. Oh, I'm sorry, he's back about 8th or 10th, isn't he?
Yep, Bobby is 11th right now.
That was 10th he was trying to take. Didn't get the job done either.
He'll slide in behind Big Brother.
See Ricky Rudd. Ricky is 3 laps down. On the start of the race, the transmission jammed up. So we have a foot camera on Ricky Rudd's car, the 28 Havner car, because we wanted to show you that these drivers would use the brakes to slow down rather than backing off the throttle. So we checked this during the break, and we saw that Ricky Rudd is backing off the throttle and touching the brakes as well. My guess is that being 3 laps down, he's out there to learn what he can and not try to mess anybody up.
Yeah, I don't agree with you on that, because normally you're not getting off the throttle unless your car's got a big push and it's not turning, then you're going to roll out the throttle a little bit, but he's getting way out the gas.
Push being when the front end of the car doesn't stick as well as the back, and it doesn't want to turn left for you when you get into the corner.
You turn left as hard as you can, and the car says, no, I'm going straight. I'm not turning left.
Usually when you fight the race car, it wins.
Normally it does.
Halfway when they come back around, and now we're creeping in on that window of green flag pit stops. The rules for the race mandate you must come in under the green flag and change at least 2 right side tires. Last season we saw some guys short pit. They came in the opening laps of the race, and they got so far behind they ended up going a lap down. They kind of got caught out of the drag. So I think lessons learned from that. We'll see everybody come in at once.
And it's going to be real important, not just the pit stops itself, but getting into pit lane and off of pit lane. Slowing these cars down right in this area right here, when you're trying to get the car slowed down to that pit lane entrance, those cars don't want to stop. Real easy to lock the brakes up, real easy to hurt transmission.
And I talked to the crew chief this morning down in the garage area, and that's the concern they were talking about. Do we stop early, take a chance on losing a lap, or do we stop late? The reason for stopping early, if you get out and get your tires, the caution flag should come out. You do not have to make a pit stop. You stay out, get track position.
One barometer of how these new rules are working out versus the package used a year ago. Lead changes in the Budweiser Shootout.
You see, this is a brand new format almost. They used it in 2001, 70 laps, but in 2000, only 25 laps. Had 4 lead changes, and today there's only been 3.
Tony, I talked to the 20. He's not saying anything yet. 40. They're looking at lap 40.
Ty Norris, the spotter for Dale Earnhardt Jr., telling Tony Eury that he talked to the 20 guys and they aren't saying anything. They're talking about maybe lap 40.
You want to just all put together?
Matt, what's going on with Tony Stewart?
Well, Benny, he just came on the radio and he was talking to his crew chief, Greg Zipadelli, and he says, we are going to pit with the 8 car, right? He says, well, it's up to you. He goes, you're darn right we're going to pit with the 8 car. And he says, well, how is your car? He says, I feel like right now I'm pretty good. Now, if I have to, I can do it. Meaning he can go around the 8 at this juncture.
Okay. Right now, those 6 cars have broken away from the rest of the field. Junior, Earnhardt Jr., Stewart, Schrader, Todd Bodine, Jeff Gordon, and Rusty Wallace. And again, Bodine and Gordon having driven up from the last row on the grid into the top 5. And here's that second and third group who...
They want to pit on lap 40. The 20 is still saying 40.
That's more of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s radio. Here's Bill Elliott, Stacy Compton. The 09 is Jeffrey Bodine.
20 definitely coming at 40.
Jeff Green in the 30. 7 laps, it'll be 6 laps now away from what we expect to be pit stops. So let's take a break here, and we'll come back for the action along pit road.
Hi, I need to run a skid steer loader.
Oh, okay, sir. We have those.
Whoa. Hey, do you have scissor lifts?
I sure do.
What about welders?
Got them.
Air compressors?
Yeah.
Cement mixers?
Yep, right over there.
Concrete saws?
Yep.
Generators? Tampers? Pumps? Boom lift? Backhoe?
For the cat rental store nearest you, call 1-800-RENT-CAT.
Light tower.
Oh, yeah. Making NASCAR plans for 2002? Then plan on heading to Talladega Superspeedway for the Talladega 500 weekend, April 18th through the 21st.
Earnhardt takes the lead out of turn number 2.
Talladega Superspeedway, where competition...
Bold, powerful, and a great way to get to work. Dodge. Grab Dodge's 7-100 powertrain pledge. Ford, GM, and Toyota don't have it.
Back in Daytona, pit stops are underway. The Rush to a Rocket, Tony Stewart's stop already completed. Last year's winner took on 4 tires, no chassis adjustments. There was some debate whether to pit with the 8. The 20 team wanted to come on 1 lap. The 8 team wanted to come another. So Tony did his own deal.
Here comes the leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., off the track onto pit road. With him are Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. And others behind as well, including Dale Jarrett, Jeff Green, and Stacy Compton.
Now, how many tires will he change? Tony Stewart changed 4 tires. You only have to change 2. Tony Stewart changed 4 for a better handling car.
Well, he certainly had to change the right front because he went all the way through that thing, getting to the brake. How about it, Dave? What do you got going?
4-tire stop for Dale Earnhardt Jr. Another car had been complaining about losing grip around the track on all 4, sliding the tires. Perhaps that's the same problem for Jr. Just a wipe of the grill. Doesn't look like they took any tape off, and he's out of here.
Exactly the same stop as Tony Stewart. Now we'll see where they end up on the racetrack in comparison to each other and see who was able to get off and on pit road better.
That's Kenny Wallace. He just took 2 tires on his stop. And as Junior fights to get up to speed, here comes Stewart and the others around turn 2.
And Junior is pushing a hole in that firewall, trying to make that thing go faster, faster.
41 cars, Jimmy Spencer. He had some contact early in traffic when Ricky Rudd broke on the start. He's got fender damage. He's going a lap down here.
And we talk about these cars taking 4 or 5 miles to get up to speed. You can see that Junior is almost 2.5 miles. He's still not up to speed. Some contact between he and Schrader.
Well, they had a run going. The only thing he could have done was throw a block, and that's exactly what he tried to do because he was not up to speed compared to these cars in the draft.
Rusty Wallace is the leader. Rusty is way out in front of these guys, but he's got no drafting help. Then it's Kenny Wallace second. Then you get to Ken Schrader, who's third. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, all in that pack. Look at way at the top of the screen. That's Rusty Wallace and Kenny Wallace, the top 2. There's Kenny, second place. And farther ahead to Rusty, who is the leader.
And they'll catch Kenny pretty quick, those cars in that draft.
So obviously Rusty changed 2 right side tires as well. He and Kenny both.
And here comes the pack.
About a 4 to 5 mile an hour difference compared to what Kenny Wallace was running and the cars that are running in the draft right now.
Yeah, that's right. Rusty Wallace last time by ran 177.5 miles per hour. Kenny Schrader, leading this group, ran 183.5 miles per hour. 6 miles per hour faster.
And so you're Rusty and you're looking in your rearview mirror and you're thinking, what?
You're a sitting duck. Because when they catch you, they're going to blow by you unless he does what Little E did, and that's try to throw some kind of a block. But they're going to have so much momentum, they should be able to get around them.
Sitting duck in the hunting's going to be good.
This time by, Rusty Wallace goes by the line. Let's see what kind of speed he ran that time. Oh, he picked it up. 178.5 miles per hour. But Schrader, getting some help from Kenny Wallace, ran 185.5 miles per hour.
There's the gap. Rusty Wallace to second place, Kenny Wallace. And that gap will be from Rusty Wallace to the pack here, about another half a lap.
And you can see that Kenny getting closer and closer. I think Schrader and Stewart might have a big enough run when they get to Kenny Wallace to drive by. Kenny tries to block him. You know what? That's what a crew chief told me this morning, that last year you drove these races looking through the windshield because you closed so quickly on the other cars. He said now you're going to drive the race looking out the rear window.
No question. No question. These guys are looking in the mirror as much as they are out the windshield. Especially, and like I said, Kenny was a sitting duck. There's nothing you can do. These guys are running 4 or 5 mile an hour. By the time they get to you, you can't do much. You can throw a little bit of a block, but you can't go too much or you're going to cause a big wreck.
Now we see Rusty Wallace. Schrader the lead. 3/10. A quarter of a second. 2/10.
Here he comes.
See you, Rusty.
And that was a good move by Kenny. He gave a little fake job there. He's got to look like he was going to go down low, and then he pulled it up to the right past him high.
A couple of St. Louis boys racing for the lead, but it's no contest. Ken Schrader's got all the drafting help.
Now, Rusty should be able to latch on to the back of Sterling's car here and stick with this draft.
Tell you what, Sterling Marlin, that 40 car, his crew must have done a tremendous job because he was 3 or 4 seconds behind this group. And look at Tony Stewart drive under Schrader. Who's Junior going with?
No question.
By himself, probably. That's why Tony, I think, moved down, number 1, to get away from Schrader, but number 2, to try to block a move by Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car.
Stewart to the lead. Earnhardt Jr. to second. Here comes Marlin. Schrader couldn't shut the door.
Oh, that's a terrible feeling. Being out there on the high side all by yourself. Because they're all going to go by you.
And there's Jeffrey Bodine in the 09 car.
Right up in there.
Kenny Cruz is going to get a little bit of help from Jeffrey.
Short. Yep. Just kind of hanging around the back of that group for now.
Now, these 3 cars ahead of them could make some time if they stay in line, and these guys stay 2 by 2. They'll lose that draft.
If the Wallace brothers, Kenny and Rusty, had been able to come back on the racetrack together, they might have been able to stay in front of this group of cars. But the fact that they were out there by themselves, they were sitting ducks.
Yep. Jimmy Spencer's just been on pit road for his stop. I mistakenly said earlier he was a lap down. He just hadn't pitted yet. He's going to be a lap down very quickly. So, Tony Stewart is the leader. About 2/3 of the way through the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Really serious about fantasy racing? Then log on to America Online and go to NASCAR.com. Where else? The all-new NASCAR.com. America Online keyword NASCAR.
My dad's gonna build us the coolest treehouse.
I don't have a clue what I'm doing here.
Well, let's see what you got. Oh, wow, a treehouse.
He can build anything.
Never built anything before.
Relax, I think you're in the right spot.
He wants a trap door.
Balcony, rope swing.
I'm going to suggest 16 penny.
You can do it.
You sure I can do this?
He's a genius.
Trust me.
All right.
Dad?
Yeah?
Thanks.
Before you settle for a brown, gray, or yellowish diamond from the mall, compare at Premier Jewelers. No matter what size mall diamond you're looking at, you can afford a whiter, brighter diamond of the same size or larger at Premier Jewelers. How can we make that claim? Because Premier Jewelers' prices on diamonds are simply better than other stores. All we ask is a chance to prove it to you. At Premier Jewelers, our proven better prices mean whiter, prettier diamonds for your money. We are Battle Creek's Premier Jewelers.
Walk into some other wireless company store and you might get, say, some free weekend minutes. Other wireless companies might try to woo you with unlimited incoming calls or maybe a free phone, unlimited mobile-to-mobile calls, or even free long distance. At Centennial, we're different. You get to choose 2 of these options. And if you're not sure which of the 5 options fit your needs, we'll take the time to help you build a wireless plan that's best for you. Get 300 anytime minutes and 2 options for only $25. Relax. You're with friends.
All right, boys, you know what to do. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. All right, Hotshot, move it. Come on, move it. Hey, Bobby, you missed the spot. Let's go. Hustle up. Let's go. Come on, guys, let's go. Get in, Elliot. Guys, not bad at all.
Stacker 2, the world's strongest fat burner. Energy to perform, even when you don't have to.
Come to Pep Boys for all of your car care needs. Buy an Energizer battery starting as low as $69.99. Get an Energizer battery at Pep Boys today and we'll guarantee it for 24 months and give you free jumpstart service for 3 years. Come to Pep Boys for an Energizer battery today.
The most acclaimed drama series on television, Law & Order, is now on TNT.
You have to talk to me.
The girl is just violent, Jack.
Get caught up all over again with Law & Order tomorrow night at 8 on TNT.
19 laps to go in the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona, the opening action of the NASCAR Winston Cup season, live on TNT. Earlier, we asked you to cast a vote at NASCAR.com in our TNT Race Talk about which one of the new school drivers you thought would win the most races in 2002. You have voted resoundingly. It's a landslide.
Wow. Kevin Harvick for president. Oh, we wouldn't vote for president.
We had the thing open for barely an hour, and 38,000 and some of you cast votes. We appreciate it. We'll have more NASCAR race talk throughout the season as we bring you events here on TNT.
Now, right about now, BP, you know, you and I really, I'm looking in the mirror, I saw you, and you really weren't my buddy earlier in the race. But now I'm reminding you about that Christmas gift I bought you. Now I want to see if you're going to help me here in the last few laps.
That's right.
These guys are all trying to figure out who their friends are right now because it's real important these last couple laps. Who is going to go with you and who's going to hang you out?
Well, we've got, you know, what we've got 2 fairly young guys in the front. Junior and Tony Stewart, and they worked together in happy hour yesterday afternoon. They ran almost the entire time nose to tail like this. Junior in front, Tony in front. Also, Kenny Walsh was in that group. Now you have Sterling Marlin, Kenny Schrader. the 40 and 36, about the same age guy, around 45 years old. That leaves Jeff Gordon with nobody.
Well, but Kenny Schrader's got a Hendrick engine in that car. So there is a little bit of cousin relative, you know, you're a relative, but just distant.
Yeah, distant relative, that's right.
I disagree with both of you. I don't think anybody out there has any friends. They all want to win.
Of course they do. But they want to use someone else to help them win.
Sterling knows he's going to have to have somebody go with him in order to get by those two guys.
Schrader. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's not going to help Dale Jr. Check this out. 3 deep. Bobby Labonte sticking those left side wheels down there below that yellow line.
Looks like he got pushed down there to me.
And in the driver's meeting, once again, if you go underneath the yellow line to improve your position, you will be black flagged.
Watch this about a lap ago up in turn 1. It's Dale Jarrett, Rusty Wallace, and Jeffrey Bodine. Hello.
Wow. DJ felt that little nudge in the right rear, and you see Rusty Wallace, they talk about backing off the throttle, and that was the point I was trying to make. When you back off, how much momentum you lose. We saw Rusty back off, and bam, cars going by on the outside and inside.
Kurt Busch squeezing his way up in front of Todd Bodine. I thought a minute ago that this second group was organizing itself into single file to try and run up and get involved in the race for the win, but well, that went away.
The spotters are going to start calling them a little bit closer right now than they have been the first 50 laps, too.
What are some of the Winston Cup drivers who are not involved in this on-track action? Think of the rules and how they're affecting the racing. Dave Burns has got that for us.
Well, Alan, Jeff Burton is watching his Roush Racing teammate Mark Martin struggle at the back of the pack. What do you think about his run, as well as the guys doing great up front like Stewart and Earnhardt?
Well, we figured those guys would be up there. Mark and Kurt, I can't speak for anybody else, but those guys, we're just not fast enough having Fords, and they made some sacrifices on their setups to try to go fast. And then they got a problem with Hamlin, but we're just a little too slow right now.
You think you can catch next Sunday the 8 car, the 20 car?
7 more days till then. A lot of work we can put in. We got our work cut out for us, obviously, but you know, it is what it is. You got to make the most out of it. This is a chess match. That's what this is. This is a different kind of race than last year. It's more of a strategic game, and hopefully we can take advantage of that.
Believe me, Jeff Burton is thinking about how he can say checkmate at the end of the Daytona 500 next week.
These guys have been working on these cars all winter to try to make them go fast. It's going to be real difficult to make up that much ground between now and Sunday, and I think Jeff knows that.
But that's right, he does know that. But they're at the laboratory now. You see, they were at a manufacturing plant for the last 2 months. They brought it to the lab. Now they're on the racetrack, and here maybe they can make some things happen.
Kenny Wallace, Bobby Labonte fighting for 9th spot. Point of reference in the 5-car lead draft, there is no Ford. Pontiac, Chevy, Dodge, Pontiac, Chevy. And there are those 5 leaders. 13 laps to go. Who's going to get the big check as the winner of the 2002 Budweiser Shootout at Daytona? We'll find out when we come back to the World Center of Racing. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Stop into Southwest Michigan's biggest and best bike shop, Team Active, in downtown Battle Creek. Mention this ad and get a free gift.
copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Tony Stewart leads the Budweiser Shootout at Daytona. 10 laps to go right now. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Sterling Marlin, Ken Schrader, and Jeff Gordon complete the lead draft. They have gapped the second draft by 4.5 seconds. It's going to be settled among these 5.
I think the 40 car is going to be the key on who's going to win or not going to win. Depending on if the 20 car and the 8 car start racing, whoever the 40 is going to go with or doesn't go with, I think that's going to be the key. If they stay like this till the end.
Look at the gap back to the second group. Dale Jarrett, Bill Weber, a lot of folks think being held up by the 12 car there, Brian Newman.
Boy, Alan, you're absolutely right. With about 23 laps to go in this race, that second pack was closing on the front pack by as much as 0.8 of a second. What they wanted to do is they wanted to get Dale Jarrett in front. They got shuffled out. Jarrett fell back behind Brian Newman. And they wanted to get Jarrett back out in front to get Terry Labonte behind Jarrett and then try and rope in these guys. As you can see, they finally got Ryan Newman shuffled out of the way. He's got body damage, so he's slow. They got the 88, the 5, the 18, and the 1. They still think there might be enough time to catch those front runners, especially, Wally, when those front runners start racing for the lead.
You're right, Bill. I mean, if they can all get lined up, if they can get 10 or 12 cars lined up, they will catch that first group. But, boy, they've got to get lined up.
I don't know if they've got enough time now, unless we get a caution.
So they've got to pick up over a half second a lap, and I can't see that happening because it's not changing. The distance between Tony Stewart and Dale Jarrett is just, as a matter of fact, it's growing.
But they don't have enough cars. They only have 4 or 5 cars lined up right now. They need all those guys lined up.
The other thing I agree, well, I think it was Bill that made the statement, but when those front 5 start racing among themselves is the key. If they start that soon, the backpack will catch them quick. If they stay in line until a couple of laps to go, then they don't have a chance.
Absolutely.
A couple of guys who've fallen off the pace. Stacey Compton has lost the lead draft. Jeff Green is back off the lead draft. Bill Elliott, Ricky Craven. They pitted separately early. They've lost the lead draft. You've got Jimmy Spencer a lap down. Ricky Rudd had a transmission problem on the initial start. He's 3 laps down. And Casey Atwood is out of the race with an engine problem. No caution so far. Leaders, Tony Stewart and Dale Earnhardt Jr. have done most of it. 23 and 20 laps apiece, respectively.
Now we see Jeff Gordon falling back a car length or 2. I mean, that's not because he's slow, because he's trying something. He's trying to see, I guess, if he can get a run on these guys. Does he have a chance to win? Marty, what are they saying down there?
Well, the other thing he's doing, Benny, is trying to get some cool air to the car because he is starting to overheat. The water's about 240 for Jeff Gordon. He will pull back to get some clean air in. He'll also duck out from behind Ken Schrader just to get some clean air to that radiator.
Well, you have to be careful when you do that because you can duck out once or twice and you can lose that draft.
Ken Schrader has led today. Sterling Marlin has not. All right, what's going to happen here? 6 to go when they come around. Who's going to make the first move? Where's it going to come from?
I think Junior has to be the guy that makes the first move, and what he does dictates what everyone else does.
How about the leader, Matt?
And that's exactly Tony Stewart's concern. He keeps telling his spotter, Mark Robertson, keep an eye on the 8. If he starts to back up, it looks like he's going to try to make a run. Let me know so I can throw an offensive maneuver. So he can't make the move. Also, he's saying, start counting me down from 5 laps down because I'm going to be a little bit busy. Marty?
Matt, don't forget that Tony Glover and Sterling Marlin have won 2 Daytona 500s together. Tony just told Sterling on the radio, you are the master of the draft. Take these young boys to school and win this race.
I see Marlin and Schrader trying to go.
I agree.
I see them knowing that Earnhardt Jr. and Stewart have the best cars, and I see them trying to get together and go soon. Dave Burns.
All right, does your boy have to be the leader in this draft? Does he have to be the one to pull out and try to win?
Well, I'm sure he's going to have to be the one to pull out. If he don't, he'll be 5th for sure, because it's only a matter of time. Those 3 behind him is going to get antsy. And you can't do it by yourself with these rules, so he's got to have help. Now, whether they want to help him or not, I don't know, but hopefully he can stay in front of him.
All right, Junior has to be the first one to get antsy, it sounds like.
That's what I thing. I think that he has to be the guy that makes the move, because I'm not too sure with these rules that Sterling and Schrader and Jeff Gordon can do anything with these front two cars. I think Junior's just backing up to try to get him a run.
A little gap there up to Tony Stewart. Remember, we heard the report from Stewart's pit a minute ago. If Junior starts to back up, let me know.
That's right. Like I said, drive through the rearview mirror.
But if these three guys behind him line up, they'll be able to do what they want, meaning Sterling, Schrader, and Gordon.
Gordon outside of Schrader. This is for fourth. The first move is made. Gordon is up a spot.
Now Sterling has a good pusher behind him, because we all believe, the 24 car is pretty strong.
All of the moves we've seen made, almost all of them have happened on the outside. Could get a little ticklish.
Because as you come off the corner, there's just not enough horsepower with that small restrictor plate to drive these cars up off the corner and try to get a run on someone.
3 to go. Jeff Gordon, winner of the Budweiser Shootout in 1994 and 1997. Sterling Marlin, a two-time Daytona 500 winners. The next man he's got to pass.
Kenny Schrader won this Budweiser Shootout in 2 years, 1989, 1990. Tony Stewart, the 20 car, won it.
My son